We're back for race 2 from Sepang in Malaysia. This is the first round of the Zero Racing's 5th season. And we've got the reverse grid here. Should be interesting. Race 1 was a little processional, if we're being honest. Race 2 should breed a little bit more contention, a little bit overtaking, a little bit more excitement. Let us roll into the grid, shall we? On pole for Spitfire Racing, Mark Labzul finished 10th in race 1. Had a damaged car, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do with a car that has aerodynamics working properly here in race 2. The man who I think is in the hot seat, though, Stefan Gervais. He qualified P5 for race 1, was running as the top Silver Cup driver for quite some time, running in 4th position, went off the track, wound up 9th. He is out of position. This is a big opportunity for him in the Project Velocity Audi. P3 will be Mike Magasevich for Redline GT Sports. P4, Mike Mark in the second of the 3 Spitfire Callaway C7 Corvettes. And then it is Artemis Sports Dule Markovic, followed by Apex Mako's Rick Martel in the McLaren 650S, the second Project Velocity Audi Wesley Stokes. And then the guys who were on the pole in race 1, Richard Hiroshi for Manticore Racing, Alessio DeBonis for Sox Racing, and Redline GT Sports Jason Mons at the back of the pack, where he finished Thomas Waz in the third of the 3 Spitfire C7s. This will be a 7-lap race. Let's get going. And they are off, and it's going to be key. Oh! Mark Labzul with a very aggressive move towards Stefan Gervais. Mike Magasevich going down the inside. Sliding Dule Markovic off. A little bit of weaving there from the Dutchman. But Gervais is going to take first place easily. He's going to cut down, and it's going to allow Markovic a good run over everyone who got kind of concertinaed and boxed up behind him. A little bit more contact there between the Porsche and the Corvette. But he is going to have to give way. Klabzul down to 3rd place. 4th place is Mike Mark. 5th place, Wesley Stokes. 6th place, Mike Magasevich, in a battle with Richard Hiroshi, and also Alessio DeBonis. A little bit of contact there. The Mercedes and the Porsche both off, and they will rejoin at the back, spoiling Magasevich's pretty solid starting position in 3rd. Gervais leads the way for Markovic. Klapzul still 3rd, ahead of his teammate Mike Mark, who's going very wide off into the sand. Wesley Stokes has got him, and he's gone past also Klapzul into 3rd place. Stokes on the move. Project Velocity with 1st and 3rd place for the Audis. Spitfires in 4th and 5th with Klapzul and Mike Mark. 6th is Alessio DeBonis. 7th is Rick Martel. 8th place for race 1 winner Jason Mons. 9th place for Thomas Waz. 10th, Mike Magasevich, and 11th for Richard Hiroshi. Top 3 are pretty static right now. Mike Mark and Alessio DeBonis have pushed their way past Mark Labzul, who is having problems now. He has Rick Martel going around the outside of him, and then to the inside, Jason Mons is coming as well. Can they both get through? Martel is through. Mons is down the inside. Mike Magasevich off in the background. He's going to slip to the back of the pack. And just that Corvette is moving around a lot in the hands of Mark Labzul right now. As he forces his way down the inside, gets past Martel. Martel loses a spot to Mons, goes very wide as well himself, and is now going to come under attack from Thomas Waz in the other Spitfire C7. Everyone's car looking fairly intact at the moment. Despite a little bit of the argy-bargy that has happened. In the meantime, Gervais is at the front. And it's a Project Velocity 1-2 as Wesley Stokes has gotten around. Dule Markovic in his 2nd place. Can the Audis play a little bit of teamwork and get clear? Alessio DeBonis under pressure from Mike Mark. He has gotten past Mike Mark, but Mike Mark may not go away in that Spitfire C7. Jason Mons is in 6th place after winning race 1, followed by Mark Klabzul, Rick Martel, Tom Waz, and Richard Hiroshi in the top 10. Mike Magasevich is the man on the outside. As for the Academy, as for the Silver Cup, Gervais is leading it, as well as leading the race. So he's in great position. Dule Markovic is in second place. Third place belongs to Mark Klapzul, followed by Tom Waz, who's lost a spot to Richard DeRoche. Slipping back to 10th, Mike Magasevich is the last silver car. There he is in the background there in the black, red, and slightly white Porsche 911. The charge of DeBotis continues. He's putting pressure on the Artemis car of Dule Markovic. And right behind them, Mike Mark and Jason Mons are in play here as well. This is letting the two Project Velocity Audis get away. They should make the best use of this and get as well clear of this third place scrap as they can. Oh! Mark Klapzul spinning around in the background. What happened to the Dutchman? So he gets very off the track. And then really just some light contact with Rick Martel. Martel takes the position. DeRoche also through, as well as Tom Waz. Mike Magasevich coming up in the background as well. It looks like DeRoche has also snagged a spot on Rick Martel. So he's on the charge towards the front. Now up into 7th position. Meantime, the squabble for third continues. DeBonis has slipped back, so I think probably a failed attempt to take DeMarkovic has pushed him back into the claws of Mark and Mons. Mark has already gotten through. Mons is trying to do the same. And at the front, the two Audis have got to be loving that, but they can't seem to really get clear. They're not really putting the pedal to the metal like I was thinking they would. This is their chance while Markovic has the faster cars, some of the fastest cars in the grid in Mons and DeBonis, who finished first and second in race 1. They are cooped up behind Mike Mark now and actually allowing Markovic to get a little bit clear. Seems like Mike Mark's C7 Corvette is behaving itself much better here in race 2 than it did in race 1. When all the Spitfires seem to fairly struggle, and they're still not doing great here, but it's been a better second race for the team. All three cars are in the points as we speak. 7th for DeRoche, 8th for Martel, 9th for Waz, 10th for Mike Magasevich. I was saying that all of them were in the points, but now Magasevich and Klapzul are exchanging some paint, trying to claim that 10th place. Bit of an aggressive shove there for Magasevich. He goes off the track as a result of it. So no crime goes unpunished, would be the case. Wesley Stokes is going for the lead against his teammate. In the background, DeBonis has gotten back around Mike Mark, and Markovic has disappeared from it, so I'm assuming Markovic has had an off. And Mons is also clear. Wesley Stokes has taken the lead. And Markovic in the background is absolutely wrestling with his car as he battles with Richard DeRoche. Porsche on Mercedes. Markovic has clearly had a bit of a moment and is having a hard time recovering. Meantime, Mike Mark has finally been pried from this battle for third, I think. It is on between DeBonis and Mons. Round 2, these two fought for the lead in race 1 early, although Mons got the better of it and managed to pull away a fair bit. Stokes in the lead, followed by Gervais. Project Velocity's Audis are still 1-2, followed by the Sox Racing Rough and the Red Line Porsche. Then, it is, as I said, the Spitfire Racers Callaway Corvette. Markovic for Artemis Sport. Manticore Racing in 7th with DeRoche. Then it's Apex Mako with Rick Martel. And then it is a Spitfire 9th and 10th place running Tom Waz, Mark Klapzul, Mike Magasevich up at the rear. Has had a rough day. He went off on lap 1. and just hasn't seemed to really have the pace. He finished 8th in race 1, had good pace, and hasn't managed to generate the same in this particular outing. Stokes still in the lead, still hoping for a 1-2. DeBonis in 3rd. They're catching up, though. Mons and DeBonis are coming. And Mike Mark rounding off the top 5, still having a much better race 2 than he had in race 1. And Gervais has gone around. Gervais is off the track in the wall. Let's see what happened to him. He was on his own, so one would have to think that this is a driving mistake or perhaps caught a little too much curb. Let's see here. He caught a little bit too much curb and a little bit of a driving error, if we're being honest. Shouldn't really be that wide. And that is going to drop him to 5th place. Oh, I stand corrected. Actually, Markovic and DeRoche are passing him as well. DeRoche had already gotten past Markovic. And a bit of a banged up front end now for Stefan Gervais. One can't think that that does great things for the aerodynamics of that car, nor does it do great things for the engine of that car. So Wesley Stokes' rear gutter is gone. Gervais, I believe, also loses the lead of the Silver Cup to Markovic. And Jason Mons beat Alessio DeBonis in race 1, and he's looking to do the same here in race 2. Just helping a Wesley Stokes immensely. Doesn't seem to quite have the pace that these two do, but they have to catch him, they have to pass him, and the longer they squabble, the better chance he's going to have to hang on to this win. Mike Mark is in 4th place, followed by Richard DeRoche and Dule Markovic. 7th place for Gervais, 8th place for Martel, 9th place for Waz. I may be speaking a little too soon, as through goes Mark Klapzul into 9th place. Waz back down to 10th. Magasevich on his tail in 11th position. Lap 5 of 7. Wesley Stokes is the second proper leader we've had this race. Technically, Mark Klapzul did lead for a little bit, but Gervais had led the rest of the way until losing the lead to Stokes. And the pressure is on. Alessio DeBonis is coming for that lead that he was unable to pry away from Jason Mons in race 1. Can he get it away from Wesley Stokes here in race 2? Project Velocity versus Sox Racing versus Redline GT Sports in the top 3. And Mike Mark is keeping with them. So this Callaway C7, maybe some adjustments between race 1 and race 2, because they were truly nowhere. Spitfire Racing was really nowhere in race 1, and Mike Mark has resurrected the Callaway C7 to a much better performance here in race 2. Then it's Richard DeRoche. Then it is Dule Markovic. And then in 7th position, Stefan Gervais. 8th place for Rick Martel. 9th place for Tom Waz, who's gotten back past Mark Klapzul. Mike Magasevich is in the picture now. This three-way fight for 9th between the Spitfire teammates and Magasevich. And if the Spitfires are not careful, whoa! Everybody going very wide because Mark Klapzul's off in the background. Mark Klapzul went very wide. He's actually having to take the pit lane back to the track. Tom Waz and Mike Magasevich had a collision. We'd have to see the details of Magasevich. It looks like Magasevich believes he has done wrong, or he has gone super deep into Turn 1, and has allowed Tom Waz back through to 9th place. At the front, Jason Mons has fallen back against the battle for the lead. I wonder what has happened to him. He's not one to usually lose this kind of ground. He was right on the tail of DeBonis not that long ago. And as the race 1 winner and pole sitter, one would think one of the faster cars on the track. he's gone off. Let's have a look. He was going for a move down the inside of DeBonis. And he clipped DeBonis. So that is the answer to the question as to why the championship leader has dropped so far back off of this battle for the lead. Richard Durocher is coming on strong, and Stefan Gervais, despite the damage to the car, is keeping up quite well. Might have a shot at 6th place against Markovic, which is the battle for the Silver Cup lead right now. Lap 6 of 7. And Alessio DeBonis is going for it. He wants that victory. He would love to be the first Italian, I believe, to raise his hand in victory in Malaysia, actually. Coming down the inside. Thinks better of it. Fantastic battle here for... Oh. Fantastic battle here for the lead. On lap 6. Can Alessio DeBonis overhaul Wes Stokes, who's always been a very good defender? Jason Mons, Mike Mark, Richard Durocher, they could taste victory as well if these two were to have problems. Dule Markovic is holding up well. Well, maybe not well when you think about the ever-present damage you can see there on the front of Stefan Gervais's car. It cannot be at 100%. Martel, Magasevich, Klapzul, and Waz grinding off the field. Lap 7 is on. This is DeBonis' last chance. We'll ride with it the whole way. Durocher may have fallen off a little bit off the back end of this battle, as has Mike Mark. The Italian, who pulled the double to start last season, do it again. Get onto the top step of the podium here. He got second in race 1. He is ahead of Jason Mons. So you have to wonder what's the risk ratio here? Do you go for it all, or are you just happy to beat Mons? That being said, it's not like Wesley Stokes is probably going to be a non-factor in this championship. I think he's going to be a strong contender. Especially with the Audi team being so strong here, and probably going to be a solid source of setup material, that's for sure. 3 top drivers in that Project Velocity team. But we're coming down to the end. Let's have a quick look at the rest of the field. Something has happened to Durocher. He's lost his headlight at some point. I believe that had happened earlier in the race. Oh boy. Let's have a look at this. Kind of waiting for this battle. So Mike Mark got wide, opened the door up for the Mercedes. Very powerful car in a straight line. Gets a slight inside line here, but nothing doing. Mike Mark very out of control there. A little bit of a tank slapper. It goes side by side. In the end, it's Durocher hitting the backside of Mike Mark and spinning off. He's going to lose his spot to Stefan Gervais, who's somewhere along the line to pass Dule Markovic. I suspect Markovic had an off. As we've said, Gervais' car is more than slightly beat up. And speaking of offs, Mike Magasevich goes mowing some grass. And we're heading to the finish line. This is the final drag to the line. It is going to be Wesley Stokes who takes race number 2 for Project Velocity in the Audi R8's first victory. Second place goes to Alessio De Bonis, 2 in a row for the Rough team. They need to bring home a little bit more if they want to take a win against the big boys. Porsche's Jason Mons is in third, followed by the Corvette of Mike Mark. Bit of a redeeming performance for them. Stefan Gervais, you got to feel like he could have had a chance to win this race or at least get a podium. He'll take his Silver Cup victory and 5th place home ahead of Dule Markovic. A banged-up car for Richard DeRoche. Also a banged-up car for Stefan Gervais. And 8th place for the McLaren 650S of Rick Martel. Mark Klapzool crossing the line in style with a 9th place finish. And the battle for 10th is on. Mike Magasevich fighting with Tom Waz. Can't help but think that Mike Magasevich had something wrong with the car that race. He seemed to really struggle much more than he did in race 1. And coming across the line in 11th is Tom Waz once again in the 3rd Spitfire. Mixed race for the Corvette C7s from Spitfire. They took home a 4th place with Mike Mark, but they were down at the back with Mark Klapzool and Tom Waz pretty much the whole day. Be interesting to see how that team develops. I think Project Velocity is one of the stronger teams out there. I think Jason Mons has got a strong campaign. And I think you also got to think about Richard DeRoche and Alessio De Bonis, independently entered cars. And perhaps the elephant in the room is the missing cars of Dean Reimers and Martin Lauer, the Dynamo Lynx Audi R8 team. One would think that that's going to be a team that throws something into the works at Bathurst. We will have to see. Bathurst is round 2. And be sure to tune in for that one. Should be an action-packed race. Bathurst always has a little bit of carnage. Always has a little bit of fun. We'll see how that goes. Until next time, have fun on the black stuff.